All right, well, let's have our opening. Wonderful, happy Sabbath, happy entrance, whatever you're seeing this. Happy Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but blessed be the Sabbath. So I'm just going to say hello. This is Alexis T with hashtag RDDC Real Double Dose channel. And we have our Mr. Heck versus Hell. It was opposite side of what's going on with Zoom. And it's the truth he tells. So let's
That's
get this
right.
conversation
We
going
tell.
on. And that's with
That's right.
hashtag FDS. And I had to turn this music down just a little bit. Hashtag FDS, which is
Flip the switch. DA. You know we have to put a little funk in there.
yeah, I want everyone to know that we have a little bit of a problem today, which is actually a blessing in its own way. For me, it's worked out, and that's lack of sleep. Okay. And it's not really lack of, it's just the assimilation of sleep. And I was pushing past the time that I was supposed to take my nap. I was having Mr. Heck over here trying to get me on schedule, but it just didn't work. So
Hey, I
I'm
mean,
not saying, and we have a little
we're just
extra
both on
quirky,
here like that.
yeah, extra quirkiness. But we were going to have this conversation between each other like we do from numerous hours. But I was like, you know what, let's bring this here because if I don't know if this is going to be the intro to some of the things, but this is what some of the conversations we'll be having with not only soul ties and entanglements, but also our weekly Bible studies or our
Truth Seekers Alliance as well.
Truth Seekers Alliance, and that comes along with it, as well as seeking beyond that, the Apocrypha, the Book of Enoch, different things of overall nature, the Anunnaki, different things of that journey, and correlating it from a whole other perspective, but always giving respect to the creator that is. So if you haven't been, which I'm going to have to change this track in a minute, Heck, so just let you know, it was the wrong track that I selected for my little ambiance at the back. I thought it was more instrumental, but it's a little bit more instrumental.
Hey, I can take it. I can take it.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I wanted to leave that with us so we can make sure we focus on that, and as well as if you're not and tuning in to many things going on here, you can always check us out. And I know a lot of our audience is still audio at this point because that's where we started off several years ago. Appreciate your loyalty and beyond. And video does not change how much we love you and how we're going to deliver it to you all. And getting those out there who are more on to the video and different things going on and how we're going to deliver it to you all. Tune in, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Google Play, Google Cast, Deezer, Giovanni, SoundCloud, iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora. Whew, I'm missing some out there. Spreaker, you got it. Okay, check. Cool. I'll make all the links at either the blogspot, which is realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com, and as well as just Real Double Dose is www.realdoubledosechannel. It's www.com, realdoubledosechannel.com. And you can also have one of the banners that Heck actually had displayed on www.spirit and mind, M-I-N-D, elevation.com, rerouting you over there or what you want to look at. We do see some of the books you guys have picked out on www.spirit and S&M elevation. And I hope that is giving you what you need and much more. I know the library is expanding. We've been saying that we have slowly, but we're trying to revamp and put it together in a whole publishing house we're doing. So that's why we're kind of having S&M be there as just the boat that's floating there right now, but pretty soon you'll be able to have a whole genre of maybe 120 different things, from audio books to any books, other authors coming on as well, presenting their books and catalogs. It's big. So when I tell you when things are slow, it's only because it's currently moving in the ocean of the motion of life. But I just want to say thank you for tuning in.
Almost built brick by brick, remember?
Yeah. But Heck is also wanting to say something to his new viewers and new viewership, and all of you have come on because of this particular episode coming out every Friday. And why don't you just take that over there, huh?
So yes, while Lex changes the tune, the soundtrack, I want to say, you know what?
Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay.
First off, hi. Wherever you're seeing this or hearing it, because I know we've had a lot of new listeners as well. So many people coming on, and just everything. It's like the momentum building. You guys are coming on at the perfect time. Even if you're watching this a year from now, still the perfect time for you, right? Everybody has a perfect timing in their life. God is always perfectly timing situations in our creation. Okay, our creation of our character development. So if you're watching this even 3 years from now, it's still a perfect time for you. Okay. So you're here. We're here with you.
30 years, 13 years.
Turn the ears on, right? Turn the ears on. Get ready to listen. Get your cup of cocoa. Get your Bible if you want to read.
That sounds really good right now. Yeah, if you have a Bible, or if you don't, download the app. I know there's one called Dwell, but we can't do that right now because they're going to be speaking it to you. And I plan on checking that out. I'm not sponsoring or endorsing, but I did check it out. If you can, go on there and Bible Gateway, different ones, and check that out as well. If you don't have one physically on you, and different ones like that. Don't mind if our heads are moving, but we're keeping it authentic, and that's what we do. You can't see a lot of that on our audios, of course, but we're getting used to it. But we're not going to sugarcoat anything. If anything, we're going to be here to bring you the tea, the coffee, and a little bit of detoxified, clarified alkaline water. Boom. Don't mind the bags. It's just my hashtag.
The most purest water you can find, and that is the living waters. You already know.
That's true. I can't say bags. I'll probably say like Anyway, God made us beautiful. Amen. So we're going to
Amen.
go on this
Amen.
conversation. Now, we were just speaking about, before we are about to get into it, I actually have an audio that I was going to play. I don't know if you can hear this, Hex. So let me know if you can hear this. Now,
All right.
everyone, just a memo.
I'll be the
Okay.
crowd.
I think I can have to, do I have to share? So I can share my audio, right? I can share?
If it's through your screen, yeah.
If it's through
Screen
my
share.
screen share. Well, it's on my phone. So you should be able to
Oh
hear.
no, just play it. Yeah, just
Okay.
play.
So it is,
Up to the speaker.
yeah, this might have to be edited out depending on if I was shouting some crazy antic, like wake up kind of mode. I did this straight in the morning out the shower and it was going excessively. So we'll see what happens and we'll go here. It's notes that I was taking, but I know I get a little boom, boom, boom in there. So
Boom, boom, boom,
all right,
boom.
so tell me if you can hear this, everyone. And if not, we'll let you know what it says on the flip side. Okay, so if you see this blotted out, it's because it was done for a reason. All right, now a word from our sponsors. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, all right, so can you hear this? Question of the day. I never prayed for the things that happened in California, nor did I ask for them on how it would be done, except for the building of my mind on how it could be done, as well as Daniel. Daniel being able to interpret the dream, he asked for how it would come. He didn't doubt God and the becoming of the vision. The vision itself is painted to show us that it is so. But because one of us in the religious world or spiritual world don't want to be misguided by negative spirits or the doubts within ourselves of our own perceptions and the delusion of the world, is it so, God? Is it true? But we don't believe the vision from the beginning that God would give us such a beautiful thing without any stigmas of anything tied to it, per se. Then we look at the fact that Pharaoh was given the vision, a pagan leader who worshiped idols and the devil, per se, right? And Joseph was the slave. Now, even though it was made for the greater good for both of those, for Joseph to be able to watch out for the famine that came over the world, quote, quote, what the world was and what was going on, he gave the dream to Sarah. But Joseph had to interpret it. Had Joseph not been in that vicinity, everybody could have died or whatever would have happened. But why did God give the vision to Pharaoh? Is it because that Pharaoh had the provision in order to make the provisions for the dream that he was going to save, and also provide and uplift Joseph and his lovingness and his testimony of being able to push past all the drama and still be able to be gifted from God? You see, the question also too is, Christ walked 40 days and 40 nights, or went in the wilderness to be within the midst of God, get closer and draw near to God. Our prayers should be, give me the strength, give me the provision, give me the thought form of how to put these things together, and let me search and seek it out in your name, oh Heavenly One. But the vision's already given to us, so why would we pray over a vision that God clearly gave us already to let us see that it existed? See, the thing is, too, when Christ became human, who stood in the place of God? Now, they had to work in correlation, but who also was God of the world when Christ was in human flesh? Was the duality so deep that God's capable of anything? So, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you have to wonder about that, because if he's going there 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness to commune with God and speak, that means God is not within him to a conscious level of his flesh. He's going to seek him in an inner level, of course, but he's still going in that quiet place. So that means he couldn't be God, and God had to be separate from him. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Also, you look at those things and you wonder. When I was sitting there painting the vision, I tried to go back and depict those things. But what was it so deep? I painted everything that I saw. Collectively, I believe it was the ether of God coming together, showing me what did exist, and also testing me to believe if I would doubt it or keep it going. Mm-hmm. See, but I gave just enough energy, emotion, time to believe it. Mm-hmm. And I left it completely alone. I may have scoffed a little bit and said, yeah, that'd be nice, but does a place like this exist? I don't think I ever said, no, nothing like this ever existed. Because I know it was a place I never knew of, right? It was a foreign land, California to me. But at the same time, I'm like, could it be so? That would be awesome if that happened. Boom. And I let it be there and I let it grow. Sorry about that, people. Where that was at the time I was thinking that. I let it grow and go. I did plant the seed. I watered it with my emotions and my love and my time. And I let it grow and grow. I didn't stop it. I didn't give it doubt. I didn't give it irritation or stumble upon it and say, you're not growing fast enough. Or you're not this. I was in desperation later on, but I was sitting here thinking, man, I wish this would be so. Give me a way. I wanted it so bad of a way not to return. I was thinking of every element I could on how I could stay there in California to see out this journey that I felt deep inside of me.
And then you come down there, I couldn't do anything and see anything, just to be abused and irritated. Like, was this really my journey of why I came all the way down here? It wasn't for some ignorant person that had demons around them. It was beyond that. And that's what I wanted to seek out. And God said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness and all the things that we add to you. I was seeking so hard. I knew it. I was speaking. But one thing I kept, besides my mom on my side on the phone, was always talking to God. How can I push past this? What's going on? What's really happening? Please protect me. That's one thing I did. No matter what I felt, what I went through, or how unworthy or how unbeautiful I felt, I still never let go of the relationship that I had with the Father anymore. I have to say mother because feminine and divine energy is made, but it's always one source, you know. But either way, this is a beautiful ensemble. King Nebuchadnezzar.
Oh, it wasn't done. 1 second, couple seconds left.
As well.
I have so many things to say about that.
Yes, keep a continuance. Blesses in the name of the Father.
Okay, I was speaking about King Nebuchadnezzar as well. But yeah, I mean, I feel good. That was, oh, I disappeared again, everybody. It's my magic trick with Zoom. You couldn't see the beauty of it, but we're working on some movement and getting relocated. But yeah, I mean, that I know it was fast. If we did add this to it, you would have heard that, everyone. But I don't see why I wouldn't. My voice was very groggy, I get it. But like at the same time, I was taught as a younger age from different people growing up in the society of, to quote, Minnesota at those times, it was more like have less of an accent, which I do have my Colombian accent. It does roar.
Turn it off.
It wants to roar out from time to time. And then in the morning when I'm trying to, it doesn't matter if I brush my teeth and put mouthwash on, which I do, it, my voice will still be like, it hasn't spoken in 9 hours. So I hope you heard what was going on. But that's where the key points we're going to get to. And also, I didn't show you this, but this is a paper that we do a lot of different things with the groups and conversations with the FMC, which is the Federal Medical Center here. And I just say Minnesota to be more discreet. And this is a conversation that they were having called Why the Old Covenant Failed. And that's what he's so rambunctious in his own way. That's what we are getting involved in right now. So what do you want to elaborate on from that part of me speaking that day in that moment? I want to know.
Well, there were 3 really good points. Okay, so I'm kind of writing it down so I won't forget them.
Okay, so I'm going to elaborate a couple more seconds on those. I mean, that's where the conversation was that day. For me, I looked at it as, okay, well, we have a moment here to where Jesus did dwell, and he went, and people say, oh, he went to go get tested. He went for this, and that's true. Like, you can go down the line with why. Only the mindset of what's going on. Like, we'll never know God's mind. But at the same time, also, there's different variations. Pharaoh was given that because he could financially provide the provision. He had the authority to say, give me the storehouse and the grains. Now, if you're not familiar with this, we'll go over the whole synopsis. I do plan on doing a Bible series where we could talk about the Bible from Genesis to Revelation and the Apocrypha. I'm going to actually read from the Apocrypha itself and give you the true version, quote, they say the true or the non-gapped out version. And it might confuse those a little bit if you're not familiar with the other version. But honestly, I think it would have been better to start off with the Apocrypha to the next one. But remember, I grew up with a Bible stuck to my diaper, literally. So it was kind of like, it doesn't make it to the point where you're always done. You learn every day. But yeah, the Pharaoh's division of what was going on with Joseph, and Joseph relates very close to me. I don't know why I've always resonated with him. Then we have the 40 days and 40 nights. We have King Nebuchadnezzar. We have different ones, but some people ask that question too. Like, why is this person rich and I'm not? And I got this rich vision that I know only God would instill in me, but then they're over there buying basketball teams and such and such. But we still forget that those people on the team itself also had dreams and correlation. Now, from my book that I'm going to be relaunching in a good way, because before it was more of a test, kind of the fun thing, but this happened several years ago. The internet really didn't come to like anything like until over the last 8 years. Like, let's be real here, you know? So it's not like I had all these launch pads and stuff like that. At that time I had to do stuff more manually, and I still got ahead from what I could learn. But I'm going to put this in here. And the TM, the Touch Me saga. Anatares, yes, she's one of the main characters. The book that I wrote, sci-fi, fantasy, mystery, thriller, it's a little fun. It's close and dear to me.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's
just to give you a little taste, it's good. We're reading it together, and I was
good, but for the fact that I wrote it,
I wasn't able to read it myself.
It's good, but for the fact that I wrote it, it's great. Boom, had to put that out there. Yeah, don't let him fool you with his tiredness. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. We're gonna be having some cooking times too, where I might be throwing on some pollito over there. Like we're gonna have Colombian nights, and we're gonna have the Mexicano nights where we're gonna be cooking a diverse meal. He's gonna make the Colombian dish, and I'm gonna make them. Well, that's not fair because
you know what? We might just have to start streaming too. You know?
Well, yeah, exactly. And well, we're gonna start streaming, but also it's not fair for that because I also had another abuelita that was Mexicana, so I still have that feeling of pozole and menudo growing up in the cocina with the tamales. So
we're gonna get some tacos de lengua, some birria tacos,
arepas. Hey, don't worry. We still love our old-fashioned cheeseburgers. I could use some oxtails. Hashtag Let's Barbecue LES. I'm saying he doesn't endorse us, but I'm hoping to find that so I can get them oxtails. So that guy's He's killing the mocktails.
But back to business.
Back to business. Hey, God created it. Listen. Hey, this is what raw and authentic is.
No,
This is
yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
But I mean, it's the same thing for the basketball team, right? The basketball team could be having 20 people on there, like, hey, if I get this money, I want to help this neighborhood, just like T.I., for example.
Right.
What he did with his rap career. People can say, oh, he's just another rapper. But yeah, he went and made affordable housing, not just a couple eightplexes. The guy, 143 units plus 25 for young youth that's vulnerable. That's a lot, you know, and for him to come to do that. And also his children inspire him as well. It's like you have that going on to where 143 lives plus will change because of that. And that's huge. 1 equals 1 million. So I want to hear your thoughts on it. I've been babbling on, but I'm not in Babylon. Boom.
But not Babylon.
No, but
I actually, because I had 3 major points that you were speaking about, and one was basically the question that you asked, and I'm going based off of chronologically of what you said. So what you said first was off of the visions that we receive. Like, why do we receive certain visions? You know, and with that, it, like, immediately
certain ones of us though, like, yeah, why do we?
Yeah, like sometimes we don't get them, right?
Yeah. Why is a person that was financially ready for that ready? Now, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have a person, I had an idea not too long ago, somebody else came out. I'm like, how the heck did they get the funding for that? But I'm like, that was in my head. How come I didn't do it when I'm doing the path of creating funding? My limitations were based on what I believed that I had to do to get that together, and my limitations of the belief in me and what God bestowed in me. I don't know. So just give me some more elaboration on that right now.
Yeah, that's good too. And yeah, you got to look at it like that too, because you're talking about Pharaoh, and he had all this power. He was he was the most powerful man on the world at that time.
Yeah.
And he was given a vision in that position. While on the other hand, Joseph, he was given a vision way before he was even out of his family.
Yeah.
Before he was out of his commonality, right? So we all receive visions at different times. And yeah, it could very much so be the faith, or it could also be, hey, this is, since you are not in my will, you know, you are not doing the things of my will, you are not aligned with me. Sometimes we also get visions like that too. We can also get visions from DMs, right? We can also get visions from the adversaries, basically trying to corrupt us in certain ways.
I think we can get injections of manipulation.
Yeah.
But as far as being able, because in that 5-dimensional plane, or some believe 6-dimensional plane, there's only so much that they can do in the presence of God in that place with you on a spiritual scale. But yeah, the influence is definitely there. Even putting seeds, say, oh, your wife or your husband's cheating on you, that definitely is a thought form. Where'd that thought come from? Where did this come
that's
from?
What I'm saying is, like, it doesn't happen until after the fact, you know, because even whenever he was over here interpreting the dreams, right? Yeah, because like even whenever he was over here interpreting the dreams, they were trying to get the interpretations after the visions were given.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's once we get in this flesh, and that's something actually that I just spoke about this morning too, about how we're more aware, we're more keen whenever we're in that dimension, whenever we're in that reality. Like I was speaking about how I was having and going through my experience where I could feel what the presence of someone was, and I could feel their features. Like, you can tell their hair color, you can tell how tall they are, all this and that. You could tell even the color of their skin, because of and you don't even have to look at them, you don't even have to be facing them, because of we're in that state, right? We're not bound by the flesh. So
we're gonna show this real quick, because I gotta inject you on that one. Lex doesn't give her extra. Hold that thought 1 second. But no, what you were saying, I have to, because you got my mind fueling, right? Is
I'm like that too.
Dang, where'd it go? Bring it back. No, it was that too. Okay, so that flowingness is the dream, the vision given to that, the ether of you and what you and I were speaking about. And we know already that the thought forms, almost like we want to keep a little helmet over our head, like not have someone take our idea. Like, shh, quiet. Don't think that. Hush.
That's where it comes around too.
Yeah, like that vision's given to someone else, and we're like, okay, was that supposed to be my time? Did I surpass that time, or is it showing me that it still can be my time? Right. Okay, so that's one checkpoint I want to do. So you have that. So he knew he could do those, to even know he had the power to interpret. I think through the stages, in my personal factual opinion of how I feel, I believe that every chapter that Joseph went through to become that, you know, and maybe it's a little off for some people because I know they don't know about some of this stuff. So I know they might be like, who is the characters? Who is going on? Open the Bible. Okay, we'll give you those sections if you want to. Don't worry about it. We'll have it up there going on. But the first part is, even if you went on Google and looked it up, I'm sorry, I got freaking hair in my eye. But if you looked on Google and looked that up, Joseph in the Bible, giving the story of Joseph. Yeah, hey Google. It's kind of I don't want my phone to start listening. You know, what chapter is the story of Joseph in the Bible, or whatever else? You can get anything by a push of a button at this point. But the last thing I want to add, please, I'm sorry, I hope your thoughts are not gone.
No, you're okay.
Sorry about that. We have two brainiacs here in a different way, so it kind of we have Clash of the Titans. You're seeing our raw form, but also everyone think about this as well. When it comes down to, I think you just said something about visions, but it was something else. Oh, at any time when someone slips up, had Joseph, okay, that vision took about what they say about 20 something years or so,
Oh
or
yeah, it
maybe
took him a
30 years.
while.
Yeah, so he got there. So it's like if he had skipped it, now I say you might have something that's supposed to be there by 5 years, and you say, I don't need this person, I don't need this, or whatever. But you say, okay, Lord, I still got 7 more years. I bet, just give me. And he said, yeah, I'll give you 7 more years of supreme, just even breathing, right? But the vision I had for you with this person was for 4 years because you needed to be somewhere else at 7. Or you could be gone and coming back with the breath of life that I gave you in 7, baby. You only have 5. But since you skipped it with your stubbornness, you can't really do it in that time, right? I'll make something happen, but it wasn't as originally in my plan. Last but not least, if Joseph had messed up and skipped that, just like Christ came, would Joseph be to a point to where he wouldn't even have took the 30 years at this point? It would have been like 60 if it was even waiting for him. But then the drought would have happened in that time frame. So would they all have been abolished, right? It's all about staying on your path and staying on the journey that's ahead of you. And no matter what happens, remember to reroute yourself and get back on it. That's what I wanted to kind of hit a little bit. But yeah.
You know what? That's thought provoking too, because at one point in time, I would think whenever I was first getting into understanding God and how God operates, I thought that everything was predestined. Like I thought it doesn't matter what route we take, we're ultimately going to end up in the position. And that was from my own perspective and my own experience with seeing how perfectly timed things are. Like it's insane, incredibly perfect, even
Yeah.
from a 3-minute difference. The exact timing that was happening in my life was
Yeah.
just phenomenally outrageous. So that's where it kind of came from. I'm like, there is no way, I wouldn't have been here in this situation, but it could have been, because we still have that free will. And ultimately, yeah, we have our own paths to choose, and we have different outcomes we can take, and one of them is trying to be the best that we can be. So Joseph, I believe that with him, I think he was on the path that he was supposed to be on, regardless of the fact, because he had the Spirit with him at all times, right? He wasn't outside of God's will. He was still trying to be a righteous man and still trying to do the things that were instilled in him, right? So regardless, God already knew his heart, so he knew what his mess ups were gonna be, right? So he just like Peter,
Yeah.
Peter, whenever he disowned Christ, it's like they knew what the mess ups were gonna be,
I believe he was on his right path. I don't have a problem
Yeah,
thinking that. I just felt like if he had steered off the path or if he haven't had any
yeah.
doubts at that time,
That's a
because
good question.
people are willing to give up now after 4 months of barely pursuing something or even a
Mhm.
month after pursuing something. So just imagine if you had to wait almost 3 decades.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it too, is like whenever it's that far out, it's
Mhm.
almost like sometimes you just gotta like just jump in the stream with like lay back, and just let it
Mhm.
take you, because it's to the sense of like the way it happens, it's so miraculous in the way it even the events turned. He was sold as a slave, he went to Potiphar's house, he got locked up in prison, and he ended up having that power to interpret dreams, and then that's how he was able to be the second most powerful man on earth. Like that was
Oh,
something
sold as a
that
slave by your
even if
own
he planned.
family. That's what
Yeah,
really messed it up.
yeah,
It's different if you had a quote wannabe system of gangsters coming in doing it. You okay? Well, they ain't supposed to care about me, but your brothers get upset from
yeah,
a vision. Your brothers get upset with you from a vision that you got about being with the sheaves falling before you. They got mad over a vision you had. Now, get that. That had to take a lot of
yeah,
cojones
that's
to sit there and get betrayed by your own hermanos and family overall, their feelings, right? Your brother, your brothers, and they like to plot to kill you, but instead it turned out for that, right?
to
But
the point
ultimately,
where
but
they didn't even know who he was later.
no, absolutely. But the thing is, the double twisted is, uh, Pharaoh also was in a place of power. His brothers were in a place of power
Right.
too. Pharaoh. So the same thing that human flesh, the same thing that got you in trouble with your brothers by disclosing this vision you had, now you have a Pharaoh that runs of Egypt asking you the same thing. So did he believe? He told his family, but did he know what that vision meant? Oh, we're getting deep. Did he know what that vision meant, right?
Mhm.
To understand where he was going to be or even why it was going to happen to make sure provision was still for his family and all the land as well. So he had to get to that point. He had to get to that point to not believe it. Did he believe it or he just keep it or the doubt that they had? Oh, come on, Joseph. We're supposed to do bow down to you and worship you, right? So he got shunned for the vision and didn't understand it quite thoroughly because he would have been prepared if he did understand it, right? So he didn't understand the vision on that level, but he knew something profound was supposed to happen. Probably baffled him. So he had enough courage to bring it out later in front of Pharaoh, because Pharaoh could have said, what do you think? I'm supposed to sit there and go get slim? I'm the king of Egypt. This doesn't happen to me. He could have been slain again. But one thing is, he believed to interpret the vision for Pharaoh exactly how it was given to him. And he trusted that. So what happened with the vision? It must have been something from the beginning when he shared with his brothers. It must have been a point of truth because he held on. Oh man, I never heard people talk about that. He held
That's
on.
true. That's
He held
true.
on
because
to
he had to.
something.
Yeah, he had to
Yeah.
believe it to an extent, at
Oh, that
least to
was
say,
fire,
"Hey, I
man.
know this was given by
Fire.
God," and that's exactly how it should be. Even whenever it's truths that we don't feel comfortable with saying, it's like, "Hey, this is what happened. This is what happened in my dream. It's stuck with me. It hasn't left.
Yeah.
Something's going on with it." He said it. He got persecuted, but ultimately that persecution led him exactly to that point. So that just goes to show a different route of looking at it too. Whenever we're
I've never
persecuted for
heard
speaking
anyone break it
truth, yeah,
down
that's
on that
good.
level. I just had
Whenever
a
we're
clarity
persecuted,
moment. And I'm sorry this is too
that's
loud in your
good.
speakers, but if you don't feel fire after this, if you know exactly what I'm talking about, you'll really feel it going on. But think about that synopsis. I'm like, man, wait a minute. I mean, like, this hair is trying to irritate my eye, okay? But I'm not letting it, right? I have dark circles, but that comes from a lot of stuff, okay? But at the same time, anemia, tiredness, whatever. But it works. This is the truth is that's how you break it down. I wanted to get into these segments because I'm thinking, wait a minute. You had to have held on to the belief of that vision in the first place. You had enough faith to share it amongst people who shared it. Because remember, he had more than one dream. So once again, we have that. Okay, well, this has to mean something. And for me, I've seen plenty of vision, unfortunately and fortunately. I've seen the visions of my loved ones carry out to their death, down to the very wire of the fabric, maybe 3 or 4 minutes off the clock from what I see. But it's scary. I've seen different things come. I know who's coming and when. I know how many days between, and I know why. I know who tunes into me and who doesn't. It's like a constant radio signal. At the same time, I have to leave those things alone. Now, I'm a Heyoka, Starseed, Indigo, Empath. The mother goddess, don't get it twisted. Okay, that's not lightweight. That's real heavyweight for me. And I look at it like, what is it that we have? How many? And we're so distracted now. We have entertainment. We have things that go on. Like our conversation could be right here. Next minute, I'm talking about cantaloupe and Fruit Loops. It's just like that conversation where you're like, man, well, how do I know it's for me? How do I know what's going on? How do I know it wasn't a TV episode I saw 3 weeks ago? Well, if that's the case, you can never really completely drain it out without asking the creator of all things to resurface it. I asked for amnesia. And now when people see me, it's not like I had anything to run from. I had very good high authority from the previous life experiences that I've ventured through to try to get to where I knew I should have been, right? But ultimately, everyone that I've had, I'm always at the peak of something, speaking before rivers and mountains and oceans and valleys of people. And for me, it's like, I'm running. Even when I had most recently this year, where I'm sitting there in some huge auditorium and I'm sitting in the crowd on the front seat, like, hey, where's the speaker? And they're like, it's you, get up. And I'm like, no, it's not. Hey, I'm about to run up out of here. And they're all coming to the door, so I can't run out. So it showed me that I'm like, you know what? I went back and I stood in front of the podium in front of everybody. And I was like, hey, I'm glad to see you. That was the first time I took responsibility for the visions I've had. Even when my sister had to come as the white wolf in her, well, now passing state, God rest her soul, Marcelo, Vaughn, Dad, all of them. But she had to come and snarl at me as this big white wolf and tell me, step outside the door. And I'm sitting here, even my wolf was docile, like, my gray wolf didn't move. My wolf was dove. He kept looking at me like, it was like, okay, what do you want to do? And I'm like, you're a wimp. You're not growling back at them. And all the other wolves came from all directions of the street, in front of the fire hydrant, everywhere. And they just stared at me and were waiting. And I remember she kept sitting there moving her paw, big paw, moving her paw, the same one that came out of the river. I knew it was a representation of her. And the white wolf itself reminded me of, hey, maybe her death wouldn't have been the way the world wanted it to, but I do know that it's something that she carried back to the creator. That's another conversation we'll have about the purpose of taking your life and giving your life. Either way, she donated her organs, and couple people are walking around with my sister's organs right now, and that actually feels really good. And the next year, I signed up for the donor organ list myself, because if someone can walk around with my heart or some piece of me and live on, that to me is extraordinary. So, yeah. This conversation is wonderful. I don't know if we should get into this because we don't know.
No, because we're not done yet. We're not done with what we're talking about.
No, we're not. But I want to. But when you do that, I have to look at this real quick and just see.
Well, what I was gonna get into, because we only touched on one of them, right? We were talking about visions, and there was a scripture.
Yeah, we won't read this. We'll read this between each other right now. It's a little different, and this was something that was sent to the prison work that we do. So it's something that's good. Maybe we'll elaborate on this, but let's keep this for a heck of next time. Right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, but there was a scripture whenever you were talking about visions, like, why do certain people get visions? Why do certain people not get visions? Yeah, that was beautiful. Is the way that it's like out of speaking truth, out of speaking the word that was given, and coming with the persecution, for enduring that persecution, God will exalt you. And that's another perspective to look at it too. If you want to look at it from like a elevated perspective of what the heck happened, the kind of beginning to the end type situation. And it was all purpose for basically down the bloodline of Joseph, for them to birth Yeshua, right? So it was all beautifully perfect, right? Genesis 50:20. You intended for bad, but so it's like the adversary wants to do bad, but God intended for good.
Yeah,
So
he just
it's
brought me to
it's
that.
beautiful.
And this is how it goes between us. He'll bring me to somewhere else.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
get that whole nugget out of it. So
we'll go right there.
execution. Now I'm getting in the minds, RGC family and newcomers, those with Heck versus Hell newcomers. Like, it's RGC FDS, but we know why you also signed up. At the same time, I want to talk about this too, right? So you have that. You said through persecution, right? Through that, you become elevation. Why does everything have a struggle? We'll go back to the Garden of Eden in a minute. Why does everything have to have a struggle? I know I hear your mind saying, well, what do you mean? Well, why do we have to have a struggle? This is this God out here who wants the best for us. He's the one who put us here. We don't have a choice to start breathing and living, right? I mean, we're born. But I look at that too. Why does the chick have to go to the egg? Why does the butterfly have to go to the cocoon or the caterpillar, excuse me? Why did the pains of birth come to Eve, quote, quote, when she decided to eat the fruit? That's when we had the punishment begin, because a life had to be slain in order for the body to be covered from the openness of that. And sin was not supposed to go into eternity. That's why we had to start having death. There had to be a level of pain and sacrifice with every single moment of us living, and stubbornness too. We have a choice to do things. I remember before, when I was a lot younger, obviously underage, and I wanted to go to Kmart. Okay, I learned how to be an avid shopper since then, and I've spent thousands of dollars with Kmart before they closed in our town. I still love you, store, but at the same time, it was, you had to go get your little bargains, because Kmart could be a little extra pricey, especially up here. I don't know, in the Midwest, Kmart was not cheap. You had a better chance of going to Target, seriously. But when I went there as a kid, I had a choice. I had a choice to do a lot of things. I could have got a job. And I did have a lot of jobs since I was 13, but I could have went, and I'm like, I don't want to go have an application. I don't want to do that again and wait 2 weeks to get a check, possibly 3 weeks, possibly.
You were working. You were working.
Yeah, tired. But and I don't believe in the philosophy of exchanging your time for money on that level. You shouldn't have to work 40 hours a week for a little $800 check, and your bills are about like $2,000 a month. It's insane. I get it. We'll have more on that with our RGC. Just check it out. You know what I'm saying? F your money, whatever else we got going on. Just different stuff you can check out. Conversations, what we have about money talk. But yeah, absolutely. I look at that too, and I'm thinking, man, Eve had to start having birth. Would she have not had any birth pains? So Adam had to have known that procreation was there for the fact that he desired to have a mate. How else would we know where the key fits into the lock? If you catch my drift. For those 18 plus, I'm pretty sure you can hear what I'm saying. So yeah, I can look at that right there and say, from my conversation, why is pain a part of everything that we have to go through? But that's the whole thing. Will we want to hear conversations with somebody like, oh, hey, I went to the store today. I found some good grapes. Oh, that's pretty nice. Oh, they were on sale. I got 2-3 cents off. You're like, okay. But remember that. Remember that autopilot conversation, right? Hey, now listen to this. Hey, I went to the store today and got some grapes. Yeah. And you know what happened when I was in line? What? Man, somebody tried to push me out the way and tell me that those were their grapes. Yeah, they told me that. And I had to fight with them in line over the grapes, and they spilled everywhere. Now, it catches your conversation a lot more than, hey, I found some grapes on sale. It's about the trajectory of the story, right? So I'm looking at that from a fine line of things, just to say, ultimately, why do we have birthing pains with everything we do? Why is there always a pain point? You have to go through such a struggle, the metamorphosis, the plants coming through the ground. Now, I look at it because I see all these living vines that my mother has around her home. They like, literally, it looks like a jungle of beautiful, gorgeous, so they call them snow on the mountain vines and leaves. It looks like a jungle. It's so pretty. And I was like, man, she says, I got to make sure I fill the water up. Purified, filtered water, whatever it might be. And then I remember I put this much water in just one of them where all their vines are into. And all of a sudden, not even about 48 hours later, it was back down again, like it never had. I'm like, what? And it just astonished me how these living organisms knew how to drink from that water. They know how to stand in the light. It's so beautiful the way life is. The struggle is real. They always fight to keep living. Even the baby deer who just got birth is put on its toes to know how to start and continue fighting when it's born. It's always the struggle. You want to hear the love story because you want to hear how the heart was broken, how it's remended, what happens. Like, I forgot, the Notebook, for example, right? The Titanic. Oh my gosh, Jack was frozen in the river. That made me cry too. How are you going to sit there and fall in love and your loved one is sitting there freezing in the hypothermia to make sure you stay afloat? Tell me, Twilight Saga, but hey, she got the best. She has a vampire. She can continue living. So sorry, Bella. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. He gets my brain going, but I'm not going to apologize for giving you the stimulation that you need for what you have to have. So now that his brain is going over here, let's get the ball over to.
Well, I can simplify that too. Of what you said, summarize it in one. I can summarize what you said in one thing. Leave your thoughts,
leave your comments, leave your questions. Email us old school style if you did. A lot of you do. We want to know. Okay.
Yes. And to summarize that too, because I believe you asked the question, like, why does it happen? Why does struggle need to be? Because it's the beauty of the rain.
Oh Lord.
Simply put, as the beauty of the rain. Yeah,
and it's the illumination of the self. It's the illumination of the self when you grow through the beauty of the rain.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying.
Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't asking the question, but I was getting the thought forms of those who will be watching it, because I
Mhm.
know too, and we all have the question: why do we have to go
Oh
through
yeah.
this? You know what? Why?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Because we're
yeah.
all living this life. So yeah, everyone has had that question come in their life, especially in those detrimental moments. Especially in
Absolutely.
those moments.
It gets to
That's
that
whenever.
point where you just don't know how much else. And I think people just get confused over never having the direct answer that they think should be given to them.
Hmm.
It's not a phone call, it's not a text. It's beyond a prayer. It's opening yourself up enough to where, if you would understand this, you don't really have to learn how to open up yourself or not, everyone. You don't. Because what will happen is, if you allow the guidance of what it already is, you'll know the difference between a friend saying, let's take a walk and get your stress off your head. Let me make a sandwich for you and sit by the park and feed the ducks. All right, let's get the stress off your head. Let's go steal a couple 40s, get a couple of alcohol. Let's go down here, you know what I'm saying? Do a little, let's go over here and, maybe paintball some cars and stuff, make you feel better. But it's
Sniff
all
some
that
paint.
someone else is hurting. Some people, oh, that's all they know. We're talking about just fundamentally here. If it has to be someone else's downfall, it's not good anyway. So you're never
Hmm.
going to be able to hear the spirit of God say, hey, I want you to go here and, for example purposes, everyone, I want you to go over here and rip off this place so you can get the money to start your own hair business. What? Well, no, that was the wrong one you were listening to. What were you smoking? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, well, I need you to go over here and do the best that you can with this, or seek this out. You'll find that clarity. And sometimes, just like Joseph, you're not going to get that overnight, even if you had the vision before. For me, and that really taught me a lesson right now. It solidified more than I realized. That's why the conversation had it. That's why I recorded the audio. I have thousands of hours of audio writing notes between about 4 phones. I probably have like at least over a couple 100,000 words written alone. That's not including screenshots I did out of other stuff that I wrote down I couldn't necessarily find later. The vision was given, and even though it took nearly 3 decades to come to fruition, he continued to go on the path. Of course, there's frustration. Of course, there's, why is this happening to me? What's going on? Did I really deserve this? Why'd you show me this? It's unfair, but I'm going to trust you through it. It's unreasonable, but I'm going to trust you through it. I have a better heart and a better intuition of you, and I seek you every day, but I have a better vision for it. That vision couldn't be with where it was and with who. It had to be forced out and moved out, because a lot of times we will stand stagnant and not even move unless we're forced or given away to the situation to be thrown there. The brothers had to go sell them. Joseph wasn't trying to leave, but he wouldn't have been ready for the provision. He wouldn't have been ready to interpret.
That's true.
He wouldn't have had the testing as well to see how his heart was really built. Just like Job. Oh, let's see. Of course, you give him everything he wants. Of course, he's going to serve you. What if you take everything away from him? Same thing for Joseph. Of course, he has a heart of gold. He hasn't been through anything. Well, let's put him through hell and back and see if he still loves you.
Hmm.
Joseph is Job as well. He might not have had the kids to lose, but he did. He didn't even start a family yet. He didn't even have the wife yet. And he was subjected to be around people that could hurt him. Job was still
He
living
still
a
loves
lavish
his
life.
family.
Yeah, Job was there having barbecue. Let's have a feast almost every day. They had enough. So either way, it still was the testament to the testimony for the setup of everything else you have going on. And at the end of the day, I remember that. You will have tests and trials and tests given to you from angelic beings, and you will be tempted by the DMs, we call them, the negative light forces.
Hmm.
You'll always have a source of temptation. They'd be like, oh, well, what if I wanted to have meat instead of potatoes? Listen, we're not talking about on that level. And unless you know you're not supposed to be eating meat, hey, disclaimer for yourself, right? Or you're supposed to, with your diet or your health, whatever's going on.
Or that was what you promised the Lord, because those are severe promises.
I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I've had those temptations myself.
if
Because
you
I made promises like that. So yeah.
well, yeah, but you know what? I'm not, because I know one thing, I can say that, but once I reneged one time on myself, I asked the Lord for forgiveness and never did it again. Because I said, you know what, I am of the flesh. And it doesn't mean I have to give into it all the time, but what it means is,
Hmm.
don't make promises you can't keep. And
Oh
I
yeah,
look at that, I make
absolutely.
more promises to everybody else and come through with them. But have you guys noticed that? You'll make a promise to someone or give you a word. At least I'm very strong with it. I'll come through all day long. I'll send them, or the past, I would send them stuff that I couldn't even go for my own grocery shopping back then. Not even knowing they had habits that were horrible. Girlfriends, guy friends, platonic, whatever. And I would literally skip getting myself what I wanted for several months to make sure they were okay and living a good life. And I had to be prepared for anything, any business bill, any unforeseen car thing, anything. I'm always prepared. And I'm like, man, it's so exhausting. And it wasn't like I reneged on it, but I started letting that be like, how would your world exist without me? And that's what you need to live like. Live like I never existed, because at the end of the day, the way you're going, you're already killing me. So that conversation would say to itself, I had to take them this. Now, I don't know. I want to know how you feel in reference from it. I know a lot of people these days, and I hear a lot of YouTubers say it, leave a comment, subscribe, do this. And I'm like, I don't know why you guys don't click or leave a comment. Yeah. So, I mean, people are going to have the trash talk, their doubts, their conversations, or feel jealous for the fact that they didn't want to be on screen or say what was on their mind. But I want to hear your feedback on how you feel about all this. What is your variations of what you've gotten from it? And I'm going to leave this off with myself to say, I feel that I have been a little bit too selfish because I'm sitting here like, man, it's been a decade at least hardcore, not to mention my whole life. And I'm like, where's mine? Like, I've been giving and working and sweating, but I thought about that. I had that before. Now, it's definitely took a transition this last 2 to 3 weeks for real. But I just thought about that right now. Like, man, like Joseph waited for that long. Like, literally could have had a 25, 30-year-old son by that time. And I'm sitting here like, man, sometimes you have to wait 40 years. And at least it lets me know that I was given 40 more years to breathe. I got a chance to go through those experiences and I met a lot of people along the way. So remember, everyone, we have a journey to do with our matrix societal points too. Everything that we do, and I know Heck can concur that, we affect other people's lives in the journey. So sometimes they need us to come in at the 10-year mark. Our mark still might be 20 off or 20 more or 20 ahead. And we have to stop at that 10-year mark in order to do something to help them in their 10-year mark from the 20 that we still got to go to anyway. We're still utilized, even if we say, well, we're great. And then that's fine. Like Tony the Tiger says, great, right? But at the same time, we still have to look at the fact that we're also utilized. It's not just, oh, we're here for a purpose. It's just us. We don't have anything else to serve. People say, no, I just realized that deep epiphany. And I think saying it out loud was a lot more eminent than anything else for me. So this is what I got from the conversation times 10 today. And I'm so happy because now I have something to be extra grateful for. My goodness. If I wasn't on here, I'd probably be like, no, I just didn't. But I'm excited that I got that download. And I want you to also see that download. So no matter what you're struggling by, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're like, man, I can't do this again, Lex. Heck, I can't. I'm barely scraping by. I can't even get my bag of cereal or my dog some dog food. There's other ways to strategize from that. And I'm also a minimalist strategist with people as well, because I do know how it is not to live up. I mean, from all the luxuries that I have to touch, it's wonderful. But I'm like the most minimalist person that you can think of when it comes to that. I know how to utilize everything from a milk jug to anything. I can make it a plant holder and everything else. And you don't even have to do anything, but maybe get some hot glue here and there. It's like, what, 25, 30 sticks for $2? It's a lot of stuff you can do. And a lot of people be reselling stuff like this. Heck, they sell stuff that costs 50 cents at home and they sell it online for $50. No hate, but I'm just saying.
And the thing about that too is you remember Mr. No Excuses, right?
Yes, I do.
No Excuses back like 2 years ago, and that's kind of what that's. And the thing about that too is you remember kind of what I had to look at myself, especially today. Like I had a deep reflection today too. What you were talking about is like we start focusing. We start almost getting kind of what I had to look at myself, especially today. Like I had to get away from the alignments because some of the commands that aren't directly given, like, oh, you have to do this, or part of the 10 commandments is be grateful. Do not complain, do not grumble. All these little things that people don't have contentment, right? Especially be grateful. Those are some of the fruits of the spirit. Have joy, be blessed. And we have to look at all these things in life. And I had to take these little moments, even as bad as life may seem right now, even if you only have 17 cents in your bank account right now, you have to say, well, I'm already blessed. There's money knocking at my door, and that could have been something like for me, for example, I had someone come to my door like a couple of days ago. Actually, I had no idea who it was. I was kind of like, who's at my door, And I went over there, and they just gave me $20, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, okay, and it was so like I was taking that into reference. You got to take these little things into reference because you can go and search all the things wrong with your life, and that just puts you into being a product of your life, and you're not producing your life. So whenever you start thinking in that mannerism and you're just focusing, man, my life sucks, I'm having this problem, everything's going on, through that storm is when we need to have that gratefulness.
And it becomes prophetic too.
Times, right? Because that's what elevates us. That's what brings us up and takes us out of it.
The propheticness is the claiming of it.
Yeah, that's part of the manifestation that goes on too. Is because whenever you start to claim it, just like the whole affirmation things that they talk about over in the whole self-help and everything like that, it comes from
self-help. He says everybody.
It comes from the claiming, right? It comes from saying it until you start to, like, if I say, hey, I'm handsome, right? I'm handsome. Oh my gosh, I'm handsome. If I don't believe that in myself, it doesn't matter what I say. It's not true. But if you say it enough, you're going to start focusing and you're going to like, well, what's handsome about me? Actually start trying to look for it, and you start seeking, right? Seeking you shall find. So in your life, if you seek for what you think you are missing, you're going to find it. If you think you are lacking love, you're going to find love. Just look for it. Just look for the little places, whether it's someone in your household, in your family, or whether it's the creator showing you love, showing you that you could have been and you've been in worse situations before. But I'm showing you love right now because I'm still with you. I'm
Yeah, that,
showing you that you're
that
still blessed.
tenderness of understanding.
So you may be without the amount of income or the amount of money that you want in your bank account right now, but you're still blessed. And where does money come from? Blessings. Money's
Sure.
blessings. Money's our blessings, so you can bless others. Okay, so just seeing that and thinking in abundance, that's really where it comes from too. It's thinking in abundance and actually being grateful for these little things is where you start to go like, okay, well, man, let's get there then, you know, because
Yeah,
even Joseph through that whole experience, I don't think he was in a mindset of like, oh my gosh, my life is horrible. This happened and this happened. He was just, hey, well, you know, it kind of is what it is. I don't think he was in such a negative state of looking at it. He was just like, you know, I got to keep persevering. It's
that's
just
true.
it's my life right now, you know, not
Mhm.
focusing on that bad. So he could have been in a very neutral state of mind, but at the same time, that's a lot better than focusing on the bad. At
Yeah,
least being neutral, because that allows you to get led by being neutral rather than producing a bad life because that's what you're seeing, right? You're gonna get what you see, you're gonna get what you feel. And actually, I was looking into the Book of Thomas recently, and there's some scripture in there that's really good. We need to start getting into that and bring it to the table, because that one
I think
talks a
that'd be
lot
nice.
about that too. That one talks a lot about these type of things. You know, it talks about
Well, we need to double back on that too a little bit
yeah,
because I don't want everyone, and I'm not saying that you all are, but I had to remember that being a trillionaire has nothing to do only with dollars or abundance when we say that.
exactly.
So I try to clarify that to you all myself, at least on the episodes of the couple hundreds that you had. It does because some people walk around and some people ask me, why do you look like a woman who's won every single lotto on the way? And I'm like, you think a lotto is the only way that we can reference what happiness is?
Yeah.
Most of them are broke within 24 months to 3 years. Especially
Hmm.
you give money to a broke person, they're going to be broke right around because they never
Oh
learned the
yeah.
mindset, know how to hold it. So abundance is smiling with your children or your family, going outside, like Heck was saying, and basically understanding the fact that you can even smell or feel or taste or touch the infinite arrangements. And I had to learn that too, where I was like, man, what's up? We have beautiful products, we have beautiful services. What's the limitation on those things? What's going on? Like, why isn't it working? It's a mindset of
Hmm.
there's a reason why it's not clicking. And for me, it's been clicking for so long. I go into companies knowing that I'm the greatest asset that you'll ever have. That's not even talking myself up. I know that. I get
Hmm.
that. I have a track record. See, when people have the investment, I was speaking about hashtag the Mexican OT. Let's put it out there. I got to give him some props on what he's doing culturally, diversity, himself, whatever, having the confidence and being a heavier built dude in a good way to where, boom, hashtag rock it out. You don't have to be out here with your little 8 packs and doing all of this and want to be sitting there with the skeletal bones and stuff for females. It is what it is. You know, if keep yourself healthy, keep yourself thick, skinny, whatever you feel, but just don't hate on somebody else because of how you feeling. But I just wanted to say, like for him, on the other hand, I was telling Heck about it not too long ago. Even him, even if it be somebody else seeing, what was his name? I remember his name was Chameleonaire, or different ones out there doing their thing. Eminem, you got to lose yourself in the moment, right? Always the greatest, but it's not even about being the greatest per se. It's the consistency. And I always tell people,
Hmm.
yeah, and I made the excuse too, and I apologize to all of you. But I realized when I realized it was an excuse, well, yeah, that's true. I did come back swinging, and I was completely going to be done with RDC after my sister, died on my birthday. It was just too much. It was like my sister mother. But I told myself, man, really, you're going to come all this way just to cut it? The double doses. And like Nate said before, one of the old episode ones you heard Mr. Nate Battle coming on there, and he was kind of a semi-business associate for a little while. I wish him and his wife and his family blessings and his new grandfathership with his grandbabies. But I look at that and it's like, you do have to lose yourself in a moment. You have to get to a point of where you are and where you're going. And I can't get to that point of where, hey, I got to stop because this is all happening. The double doses, like you said, has been my sister and I from the beginning. I just never knew that she was going to go until I was given the provision of vision to see her gone. I just had to catch it up in the reality of the physical. So the perseverance of it is exactly that. Your
Hmm.
abundance starts exactly where it's at. And I just want to leave that
Yep.
little note in there of what your perception of abundance is, because a lot of you say, well, no, money does
Well,
get things done. Money helps things elevate. Everyone needs to move. We just do. You exchanging trade something. Whether you have apples and I have bananas, we're going to trade somehow. But there's some kind of transverse for that happening. But until you start seeing every layer stack up as an abundance level, it just won't happen. Just like other
hmm.
checks coming in the mail for $500, another check here, and I'm like, it comes in like it's trying to be a car that's like, and I'm like, what am I doing? Am I flooding it and just slamming down the gas and just keep pumping it? Or am I not pushing it enough the right way and letting it charge? I remember my car had stopped or it wouldn't restart. And heck I was like, oh my gosh, my car was up. I'm sitting here on the side of the road. What's going on? Oh my gosh, more stuff. I was going, okay, I know too much. And I'm like, oh gosh. And my anxiety or panic attack was coming on. Yes, I've been suffering with that. More episodes come on that with our tips coming on every Wednesday. Be listening out for that. But at the same time, I was like, man, what's going on? What's happening here? And then all of a sudden he said, okay, just stop the car, turn the key in the ignition, whatever he said to me. I was like, all right. And I listened to him, but I remember I didn't have a doubt or that attitude in there. I'm not going to blame it on the Latina attitude. I was like, yeah, whatever. But I was just like, okay, tú sabes, you know everything. I didn't do that. I was like, I didn't say, what if he's not right? What if I was just like, all right, listen to what he said. A voice came to me. We say, oh, this thought came to me. This voice came. God spoke to me and said, shh, peace be still. You asked him a question. I have him with you. He's giving you the answer. Hush and let it happen. Now, in my mind, I was like Ratchet and Clank. I was like, oh, if it don't work, watch when I go off on him. Like, hey, you need to work. But I was like, you know what? It's okay. That's all right. What can I do? All of a sudden, what happened? Not even, he said a whole minute or 30 seconds. He said, whatever happened, boom, car started off like there was nothing. I was like, wow, I got to keep him with me more often. What's going
Yeah, that's actually one of the topics of conversation I was going to talk about too. That
I'm actually going to step over here for 1 second because the heater is killing me. It's too warm. No. 1 second, but yeah, go ahead. I hear you.
Because one of the other things that I was going to say too, when it comes to the abundance that we have to look at really quick before we go into that conversation is going to be, if you are looking at it, just because I don't want to lose this, because this is good. If you were looking at it from the point of understanding that value chases money, right? I mean, backwards, money chases value, right? So if you're chasing money, if that's just what you're chasing, you're most likely going to be running for a while. Okay. But if you understand that value is chased by money, that money just goes after value, being able to understand why people say, hey, you are worthy, you deserve it, it means you are valuable. You have always been valuable. So if you start to look at that and start to believe it, that's when things will change. And you have to look at yourself, because one of the things that I looked at this morning actually was understanding the parable of whenever it was referring to the talents, right? The parable of the talents. Whenever the master gave one talent, I'm sorry if y'all hear that right now, this ice cream truck passing by. They pass by so slow because they know there's a hot spot around here. So they're trying to make money. So I don't blame them. I blame the hustle.
Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you got to understand, whenever you look at that, it's not even from the fact of, it's the perception, because the talents that were given weren't necessarily coins, weren't necessarily a currency. They were actual gifts. They were things that they had a capability of doing. Okay. So one was given one was given two, one was given five, and I think one was given 10. I don't know. It might have been just 1, 2, and 5. Something like that. Don't quote me on that. Okay. But if you look at it and you go and you see that the person that had 5, they went, basically put it and made 5 more. They doubled that. Okay. The one that had 2, they went, they put it up and they got 2 more. Okay. The one that had 1, they went and they put it down. They hid it. They buried it. They said, Lord, I knew that you were a harsh master. I know how you are. So here's your money back. And he called him a wicked servant. He said, you hid the money. You hid the talent, excuse me, not the money. You hid the talent that I gave you, instead of putting it, at least depositing it in a bank so that it can gain entrance. So you got to understand that after that, directly after that, he said, to he who has much will have more, will be given more, right? And to he who does not have, he will have less. More will be taken from him. So you have to understand that it's that point of perception as well. Okay, that talent that person had, they weren't looking at it like that. They were just looking at it, well, this is the only thing that I'm good at. Let me keep it to myself. I'll just give it back. Let me not do anything with it. And these other people, they're like, well, I got 2 skills that I'm really good at. Let me put these to use. Let me do what I can with them. Oh, I learned 2 more skills. And they were looking at that abundance and lack perspective. That was the difference. That was why one was wicked and the other servants were faithful, because they understood that they had value from the value that was bestowed upon them. Okay, if we were created in God's image, you were already valuable. That's the thing about it. So whenever you say you deserve it, you got to take that to an extreme. You got to take that to understanding that is beyond just I deserve it because I just do. No, you got to see it and see, I do deserve it. I am valuable. I am God's child. Why wouldn't I deserve it? Well, if money chases value, I know I'm valuable. Money's about to come. Money's on its way. It's walking to me right now. I don't have to chase it. But what I do have to do is understand that I'm valuable and put my skills and talents to use. Right? So that's the whole point of it. So you have to understand you're valuable, so money will chase you. You do not have to chase money. If you chase money, you are playing the chase game wrong. This is like a relationship. Someone's always being chased. Someone's the chaser, someone's always being chased. You always have a relationship with money, even if you don't know how to use it, how it works, how it operates. Money is supposed to chase you. You were not supposed to chase money. You were not supposed to work for money, just like Lex was saying. That's exactly what it is. And to go a little deeper into that with the whole visions of what we get and how she was able to go and start her car, right, just from listening to me. I've had a circumstance where whenever I first started finding out about intentions and how we can kind of control the intentions that we have, I was trying to correlate it with the scripture. I'm constantly looking away because I just see myself right now, and I don't know. I can't think whenever I'm just looking at myself, dog. Okay, so if y'all see me looking away, that's what's going on. So you constantly are going and having intentions with anything and everything. Okay. Whenever you plan on walking into your house,
Mhm.
your intention is to go and turn the doorknob and walk in. Okay. That's your intention. That's what you're going to do. Whenever you go up to it, if you know you lock it, hey, I gotta pull out my keys. It's not gonna be unlocked. If you know you don't lock it, you're gonna have no doubt and just with the intention of going right in. So you're gonna go up to the doorknob, no doubt, turn it, open the door, walk in. No doubt at all. So the intentions are very much correlated with our beliefs. Intentions are correlated with our actions, right? And what I came to find out actually is the intentions that we have are, in a sense, they
Sorry,
can
I'm
be
having a little bit
countered.
of a issue with my headphones.
Yeah, you're fine.
They're trying to fall over at one time. I didn't know I was on screens. Sorry.
but but they can be countered, right? They can have doubts. That's where doubts come in, right? Doubts are what counter your intentions, counter intentions. Okay, so if you start having doubts, like Lex was talking about, if she started doubting, hey, this isn't gonna work, I'm about to get mad, I'm about to go off on Hector here. If she started thinking that,
Cheers.
it might have not happened. It might have not turned on. And it's the fact that I came to find out because I tried practicing it, I tried using it, and I'm like, okay, well, if I want to go with something and put my intention so hard, what I learned was, hey, you got to have such a hard intention, like this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to go on.
True.
But it's like a balance, because if you know that, that's like believing it, right? You're believing it, that's your intention. But if you start to focus on it so much, it can create doubt. And that's kind of where it gets a little tricky,
Mhm.
because I've gone to, basically, when I first tried it out, I was in downtown. Okay, any downtown that you go into, you know how busy it is. Okay, you know that it's so much traffic lights. There's a lot of cars moving back and forth, whatever. I was in downtown. I was leaving downtown, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to hit all green lights and get directly on the freeway, not stopping once. I went and I just put that out there. I spoke it,
Tell me.
and I
Tell
forgot
me.
about it.
Tell us. Tell
I
us.
started I started forgetting. I started thinking. I started thinking of other things, and I started driving, right? And I saw a red light, and it just turned green as I was pulling up to it. As I was like starting to slow down, it turned green, and I'm like, okay. And then another green, and then another green, and then another green. Next thing you know, I hit eight green lights back to back to back, and I'm on the
I
freeway, and
love
I'm
when
all
that happens.
excited because I'm like, oh my goodness, this just happened, And I'm like, you can control your intentions, but what I found was best for me, since I know I'm a little bit of an overthinker, right? If I focus on something, and this is actually something that also happened just recently with Lex here. We were having a whole little consensus, and with another brother of mine, and there was something going on in the background, and we were just like, okay, let's pray. Let's just pray it in faith, and we did our little prayer, and it
Mhm.
was just like 2 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
And then we continued with the conversation. She never came back to the phone, but we just continued on with the conversation. Just let it be. We didn't stay on it. We're just like, no, like, Lord, keep, and just keep babbling on, not Babylon, but keep babbling on, and trying to get more words to almost make us believe it. No, we're like, okay, well, we said it, it's done. She came back like 5 minutes later, and she was like, hey, thank you. I heard that. I heard what y'all said. And as that was going on, I felt it. We were just like, oh, cool. We knew. We know. We know. So once you start focusing on it more,
Oh, do you
it
miss your
can
brother?
create that counter intention. You know what I mean? It can start to basically cause that wavering. And that's what I'm looking at too, while you were saying all that about intentions, about beliefs and everything like that. If you think about it, like, whenever Yeshua was telling the disciples, he didn't tell them over and over certain visions. You know, whenever Joseph got the vision, he only got it one time. And he didn't continue to think on it. You know, he was just kind of going with the flow. He's like, all right, well, I'm focused on the present. You know, he was just going through his day.
But he
So
also had the Holy Spirit being able to guide him and speak that,
yeah,
because I knew the difference between dreaming of my sister passing and my brother and them versus what the vision was. The vision is clear. Hey, this is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. There's no distorting it.
right.
There's no rerouting it. There's no rethinking it. Once
Hmm.
you know, if you're open to that happening to you, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So it's like that's how the visions are, but at the same time, it's like you got to pay attention and see those correlations that
Mm-hmm.
once you start going on it and start thinking about it and start focusing on it so hard to the point where you're like, "Oh man, what if it doesn't work? You know, what if it doesn't, you know, you're thinking of it, you become to overthink it. You
Yeah.
know, if you know you're not like that, kudos to you. You know, go ahead and keep thinking on it strong. But if you know you're an overthinker, you know that's how you can get around that. So I just
Mm-hmm.
gave you all some game. I just gave you all some utilization to take control of your life. So don't tell me you're over here coming on here on the next episode talking about I'm not blessed or I'm broke or all this and that. We don't want to hear that negative talk coming out of your mouth because you're calling it into existence. Okay, so yeah, you got to take control of your life, you know, and that's one thing that Mr. No Excuses was talking about too. Like it doesn't matter who or what you are, what position you're in, you know, and that's actually one of the books from what is it, The Secret? It's all
Mm-hmm.
about thinking. That's a lot of what Think and Grow Rich is. It's we are in control of our lives if we allow ourselves to be.
Mm-hmm.
If
Exactly.
we just want to let life take us, that can be 100% true.
That's the
And
beauty of
that
free
was where
will.
I was failing. That was where I was failing. So to answer your question, Lex, about the conversation that we had a couple of days ago about what I'm doing different, I was letting life take me by the horns rather than me taking life by the horns. Okay.
What do you mean? What question? I mean, I ask you a lot of questions every day, so I don't know what particular one.
About how all the attacks were going on and what was different that I was doing that I wasn't doing before.
Oh, okay. Last
It
night,
was my
we're
thinking.
referencing last night. Okay,
Yeah, it was
okay,
my mindset.
yeah.
So that was the difference. That was the major key difference. I got the keys, you know, but I'm not DJ Khaled. Okay.
Oh goodness.
God did. But that's, you know,
Thanks,
that's kind
DJ
of the whole.
Khaled.
Yeah, I like him.
Hashtag
He's
EH,
cool.
EH. If you're listening to this episode, EH, since your other brother over here referenced you, hey, forgiveness is always open once it's asked for. You know what I'm saying?
We still
Love
miss
and
him. We
abundance is
still love
always
him.
there, and acceptance. You can talk to your brother.
Mhm.
You never know. But we feel you. We feel you. We gotta try to go on there. At the same time, yeah, I'm glad that you dropped all those wonderful jewels on what's going on
Mhm.
with everyone, and I'm hoping and I'm
That's
praying that
something that's gonna be a part of Soul Ties for sure, is giving away
yeah.
that game because I have a whole map laid out like of how beliefs, and then there's like a cycle of beliefs, desires, intentions,
Mm.
self-fulfilling prophecies, all this like
Oh, I know.
circle.
Trust me, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes he
So
likes to act like
breaking
your
it
girl
down.
Lex is new to the game, but we'll work with it.
I'm just giving a pregame. I'm
I'm
giving a
new to the
pregame.
game of heck though, because he has his own
Yeah, we all
perceptions
got
and
our own
viewpoints
mechanism.
and stuff like that. So I can't say that I know his viewpoints and his perceptions. It's actually really refreshing. Whatever you have
That's
things
good.
when you have things bestowed upon you, when you have things given to you, it's just the point of life to be the essence of it. So we
Amen.
do understand, and we want to conclude this conversation for you because it is the Sabbath,
Mhm.
for us at least, and that's Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. But every day to me should definitely be a Sabbath because I mean, who wouldn't want to commune? I mean, if I could have any
That's
choice, I
right.
would be right back in the garden, kicking out Eve and Adam, and going to sleep. I'd be like, you can come talk to me anytime you want. Fruit, no. I'm not thirsty. I don't
Right.
have to poop. I don't have to die. I don't have to
You
take a
said don't
shower.
need it. I ain't touching it.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what?
imagine
You
that.
want me to dig it up? Get it, get it out of here.
I don't even think bathing existed in the garden because you
Yeah,
wouldn't have to. I mean, you never die. Your skin cells never have to die. Remember that. You
yeah,
only
that's a
have
good
your skin.
conversation.
We shed so much skin every day. Our cells constantly die. Even they know how to die because of this ultimate thing that happened. Don't blame Eve, everybody. You keep doing that. But remember, the point is God didn't come question Eve when it happened. He came to question Adam.
Because the
What's
commandment
Adam?
was given to Adam.
Yeah, the commandment was given to Adam. He told her that, but he was supposed to watch over his offspring instead of taking the blame and saying, "Hey, this is something from boom, boom, boom." He didn't even get the chance. He could have had a chance too for his own journey. No
Hmm.
blame. Take responsibility. Well,
Yeah,
the woman
because
that
as
you
a
created,
man,
he tempted me.
that's what
The
you're
serpent in
supposed to
your
do.
garden that you created, boom. Well, yeah, exactly. In those retrospects as well. I've been saying that for a while. But anyways, let me stop and conclude this for the
Hmm.
rest of you all because I know already I've been pushing past my zone. I had one pushing past the pain, pushing past the fears. I'm getting a little bit more tired than I was before, and I can see my little eyes closing up.
You know what, guys? You know what? I'm coming back on Heck versus Hell right after
Ladies
we
and
end this, just
gents,
so
I'm
we
not
can
gonna
keep
say
it going.
guys, but I'm gonna
Keep
say
the
ladies and
inertia.
gents. Yeah, yeah. Well, he can do his episodes all he wants, but we'll see
Nah,
how far that gets him. So,
yeah, I don't know
anyways,
about that.
everyone, heck, Thank you for being on here with us, because this is a part of the platform of the Truth Seekers. Yes, we are
Always
the
amazing.
Truth
Always amazing with you.
Seekers Alliance Mastermind. However way you put it, that's what we are. Mastermind Alliance is actually what it's called.
TSMA.
Yeah, and we do have the .com available. We'll be doing something with that, just like the rest of them as well. But thank you for, not forgetting. And I love those who hashtag me. Yeah, Lex, be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of the spirit. But ultimately, don't forget where you are. Remember to be looking out. We're going to launch those logos of soul ties and entanglements, so you can know when you see that, it's like that little Batman logo. That's what it's going to be when you see it in this, going on. And our conversations will be a little bit more. This was more of a kind of a prelude to our conversations of what we're having. And to do this at an energetic level to where mine's at least a good 40% energy wise, I would say. But that first half was definitely hitting on that 95%. Okay. Let's not forget that. But anyway, this has been Lex and Heck, and this is the Truth Seekers Mastermind Alliance. Again, coming out with our prelude to this conversation of open topics when it came to the Apocrypha, the Bible, Enoch, the Book of Enoch, and many, many more things to happen, and opening up the truth beyond what is there. And I know already I got to get back to I can't remember the name right now. I believe it's called The Fifth. And I want to just hashtags, shout out to you guys for always seeking things out and also being there. And it helps that they did the journey of being I don't know if it was called a priest or a bishop for about a good 30 years before they started their journey. So they understood all the mechanisms of what people are going to go against and not. But yeah, we'll see you on the flip side. You're amazing.
And it's all right. How's it go?
We'll see you on the flip side, and you're amazing. Thank you for tuning in to hashtag the Truth Seekers Mastermind Alliance. This is Lexus T and
Hector Rivera.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Rivera.
Yeah, Rivera. Don't forget.
All
yeah.
right.
Ari Lex be coming in here every once in a while too, but we love you and we're thankful that you're on here. Just be looking out for the goodies and the different ones that we'll be dropping, and abundance that we'll be giving out as well for those who want to engage and be able to take yourself out on a nice little time, or even having some things to help you get there to create the vision maybe God put us in your life to do as well. And it doesn't come always with a ching ching. Sometimes you just have to be here with the ming ming. You know what I mean? So, all right, love, peace, blessings, and we'll see you on the flip side.